So, I just wanted to kind of share with you my thoughts on comic books. Now, I don't have any issue with comic books, but I will say comic books are very static, okay? What happens and what occurs in a comic book is essentially a bunch of static images with thought bubbles or text bubbles above people's heads, and whatever's above their head or in their face or whatever they're saying is essentially in those text bubbles or those thought bubbles. They essentially are saying something in the comic book, but you can't hear them, and you just have to kind of imagine what they look like and what they sound like when they talk. Okay. Comic books, in my personal opinion, don't convey enough for me to actually, be connected to the characters or really care what's going on in them. Though there are some that can do it. There are others, that just seem to be like, eh. Like, I've read some comic books and I found out that even the ones that can sort of do it, I just don't care about the characters enough. It's essentially just me reading a book, which I don't mind reading a book. Just static images with text here and there. It's just kind of And my other issue is when you read a comic book, you're paying about $2 for something that could possibly just be another filler. It's not like television has fillers. I mean, they always have fillers in their freaking live action or animated series shows, but still, at least in an animated series or a live action TV show and or movie, what you can do is watch the characters interact with each other, watch them actually do stuff. In a fight scene, the Man of Steel, you actually saw Superman fighting Zod. You actually saw all that. In a comic book, you wouldn't have seen all that detail. You wouldn't have seen all of that, destruction of the city, but in a comic book, not only will you not be able to see all that detail, but also you won't be able to really kind of understand or kind of be able to see the emotions of the characters because they'll probably have an angry face on their face, or they'll look happy, sad, whatever. But the text, for the most part, I feel as though even when I read their words, I still can't convey the emotions. I still can't understand, the emotions. Like, you could literally put what they're saying in any emotional state whatsoever, with the exception to maybe a couple of lines, depending on, how they, word it or how they've set it up. You can put that in any emotional state and they can sound happy, sad, angry, and they can still say it. While in a live action movie or animated series, you can see their face, their facial expression, and hear their emotional voice. You can hear them talk. You can actually hear them, in distress. But in a comic book, what's going to happen is you're just going to be reading text with a expression on their face, and it's going to be extremely static. Another issue, and this is like my final issue for this, is the fact that when you do read a comic book, the first thing that ends up happening, oh boy, is you have to be ready for the fact that once you start reading it, you're essentially done with it. Okay, you have to realize that once you're done reading that issue, you're done with it. While in a movie or a live action movie or animated series, you can watch it and you can see the stuff happening. While in the comic book, it's static. It's static. You can't see it happen, and whatnot. And I feel as though that I would prefer to see some of this stuff happen in an animated series rather than, a comic book, because then I can actually see in detail what's happening. Yeah, I mean, I know animated series don't exactly have a ton of detail like the live action stuff does, but still, it's more detail than just a static image. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys later.